Alright y'all, so for dinner tonight we are making honey barbecue slow cooker chicken taquitos. This is a Pinterest recipe. I will link it down below as usual. I'm sure that this is probably optional. One of the first things you're gonna do is get out a small bowl. You're gonna mix together the ingredients to make the barbecue sauce, but I'm sure that if you have like a bottle of barbecue sauce in your refrigerator or pantry you just want to get rid of, I'm sure you can use that. But if not, for the barbecue sauce, you're gonna use some ketchup. I'm going to use the no sugar added, some honey, molasses, apple cider vinegar, paprika, chili powder, garlic powder, salt, and pepper. Obviously you're going to use some chicken because we're going to make chicken taquitos. The recipe calls for using small flour tortillas. That's perfect because I've got like a bunch of these I need to use up, so that's awesome. You will need some cream cheese, about 4 ounces, some cornstarch. The recipe calls for Monterey Jack cheese, which I don't have. I do have cheddar, so I'm going to use cheddar. Use cilantro. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and whisk up our barbecue sauce ingredients, and then we're going to get the chicken into the slow cooker. I don't want to forget to mention that this is a Sunday Suppers collaboration hosted by Tiff over at Small Town 6. So I will leave her channel link down below and the playlist for this collaboration as usual. So don't forget to check that out when you're done with this video. Also linked down below will be the link to this recipe, but what I'm doing here is just adding a half a cup of ketchup, a quarter cup of the honey. So I'm just trying to use up the last little bit of the honey that I have. Those little rubber spatulas are so easy to use. Like, it is just so convenient. It makes life a little easier. 2 tablespoons of molasses, which is perfect because I happened to buy that jar of molasses over the holidays because I had a recipe I was going to make and it didn't work out. I ran out of time. I mean, I could still make it. I mean, we're only in February right now, but anyway, moving on. 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, a teaspoon of chili powder, half a teaspoon of paprika, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and half a teaspoon of salt and pepper. And then you just want to whisk it really well. And then I've got my chicken in the crock pot. Pour your barbecue sauce over top of it, put the cover on it, and I set it on high for 4 hours. Y'all, it is that easy. So next I am just removing the chicken. I'm going to add some cornstarch, and I don't have any cornstarch left over. I mean, I'm just like shaking it, beating it against the crock pot, trying to get as much out of it as I possibly could, and just whisking it in. What I didn't show was the fact that I did grab some xanthan gum, just maybe about like half a teaspoon of some xanthan gum to basically, you want to just thicken up your barbecue sauce. So then while that was sitting, because you want to let that barbecue sauce for about 10 minutes, I shredded up my chicken. And by the time I was done with that, the barbecue sauce was done. So you just pour that over top your chicken, the cream cheese. I used the rest of my Carolina Reaper cheese that I had. Y'all, that made such a difference in it. It added a nice little kick. It was so flavorful. And then of course I added my cheddar cheese because it's what I had. Although the recipe does call for Monterey Jack cheese, you just got to use what you got. So just mix it until it's all well combined. And you want to make sure that your cream cheese is good and softened. It had softened all day. And I got out my really big, cookie sheet that I had gotten from Sam's Club. This was just super convenient. Lined it with some parchment paper, and I ended up using the rest of my, they're like the fajita size flour tortillas, and I was able to use up the rest of those. So I've got a quarter cup right there, and I'm using my fork to just kind of get the mixture precisely in there. And then I just use my fork and my fingers to just kind of form a line like closer to the edge of the tortilla, and then you want to roll it as tightly as possible, and you want to go seam side down, and then you just start lining them up. Super easy. This also freezes really well. I think I ended up making like 15 of these taquitos, and I like took half of them and I stuck them in the freezer. And in the recipe, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, like we're like past like nutrition facts and stuff, it'll tell you like how to freeze it. And then when you're when you want to like cook it again, like tells you like baking instructions. Super easy. Love it. And my daughter really loved these. These were like so good, so flavorful. I whipped these up, and then this day I ended up having to go to church and teach a Wednesday night Bible study class for the teens. It was totally unexpected. So this was filmed in one day, and then the ending is actually filmed the next day. But this worked out so perfectly because then the next day I was running around super busy. Had to get my food shopping done. You'll see that grocery haul collab, or not collaboration, but the grocery haul here pretty soon. So by the time I got done and I had to go feed all the farm animals and stuff, it was just getting late. And let me tell you, I ended up just throwing these into the oven for like 20 minutes and it turned out so perfect. And I'm like, man, this could not have gone any better. So it's just like meal prepping for like the next day. So whether you're doing it this day or the next day, it's all good. It's all the same. And we ended up just serving it with like some sour cream or some salsa. I use my favorite guacamole salsa and this was delicious. And yes, while I was making these taquitos, I was jamming out to some 80s rock and roll. I mean, I had found some songs that were just like long forgotten songs that I was like, yes, I love this. So just jamming out to some 80s music while rolling up some taquitos. It was all good. It was so good. Very relaxing. This is the part where I'm just kind of dividing half of these up. Half of these are going to go into the freezer. Well, those ones right there, I'm just going to stick them in a freezer Ziploc bag, and then I'm just going to write on there what it is, what temperature I'm supposed to preheat the oven at, and how long to cook them. The other ones I stuck in the refrigerator. Actually, I stuck them in the freezer because the directions say to blast freeze them, and my refrigerator has a setting on it where you could like set the freezer temperature up like really high for a short period of time. I don't know if it's actually considered blast freezing, but and I don't even know if that actually worked, and it didn't even seem to actually matter. So anyway, this is what I'm doing. Okay, so I just pulled the taquitos out of the oven. They are a little overburnt, not overburnt, but like a little overcooked on the ends here, but I'm gonna let these cool off for a minute and we are gonna dig in. All right, y'all, that'll do it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you haven't done it already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below, hit the like button, share with somebody you love. Don't forget to check out the playlist that is linked down below, including Tiff from Small Town 6, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.